Oh my god, Martin, do my eyes deceive me? Or did I just walk by you a second ago? I thought I had a stalker on my hands.
Yeah, I had a feeling it was you that I saw.
Wait, you're not really stalking me, are you?
But considering that 7 whole years have passed since you broke up with me in one of the worst ways imaginable, no, Yuna. I would sooner go out of my way to avoid you, rather than follow you around.
Okay, so then tell me what you're doing in the same luxury hotel that I'm staying in. This is the last place I ever thought I'd bump into my broke loser ex-boyfriend. I bet this place costs more a night than you make in a year. Is that what you did? Did you save up all your money for the last 7 years just to blow it all on a 1 in a million chance to run into me here? I wouldn't put that past you. Poor people have done dumber things with their money.
I see you're still under the impression I'm a broke loser.
Yeah, well, I mean, you are a broke loser, so...
Listen, Yuna, I told you all this at the time, but let's refresh your memory. The reason I quit my job at the company I'd been with since graduating is because I wanted to get my own company up and running.
Yeah, I totally remember that. What's your point? Let me guess, you thought you were finally ready to make the big launch, but then realized you were way in over your head and fell further and further into soul-crushing debt. Am I right? Don't tell me you already declared bankruptcy. I tried searching online for your company's name a while back, and you know what came up? 0 hits. And that's what you are, a 0, a broke loser, like I said.
I'm not really sure what you're talking about. My company is the top result when you search for the name.
Oh, right. Sure. Well, I hate to break it to you, but I definitely did search for your stupid company's name, and it definitely returned 0 results. So unfortunately, I see through your pathetic lie.
And like I said, every single search engine I know of returns my company's homepage as the top result when you search for the name. What site are you using anyway? Are you sure you're spelling it right?
But enough about you. Let's talk about me. Guess what? Last month, I got married to a super rich, high-powered businessman. We're gonna have a ceremony in my husband's hometown, and we came out here to do some planning with his parents. And we thought that since we were coming all the way out here, we might as well stay at the biggest, most luxurious, most expensive hotel in the city. It feels so great to be treated like the princess I am. He's totally different from a certain broke loser ex-boyfriend of mine. I won't name names, though.
What a day. I get called out here by a client for a meeting, and no sooner do I get to the hotel than I run into my legendarily narcissistic, veritable comic book villain of an ex-girlfriend in the lobby. I just can't catch a break.
I knew it. You're not staying on your own dime. You could never afford a place like this.
The CEO of a firm that's one of my biggest clients invited me to come out here for a private gathering. We work together a lot, so we've kind of developed a relationship in our off time as well.
A CEO, you say? Sure. I bet it's some failure running a bankrupt company that's just trying to save face by putting you up in a sweet hotel. Careful about ordering too much room service. You might just spend the company's last dime. Losers always stick together, don't they?
And here we go again.
What's the matter? Did I strike a nerve?
Everything I say, no matter what I say, you always find some way to twist it into an insult. Well, I'll give you credit for creativity, though. But just like 7 years ago, your insults are so hilariously far off the mark that I can't even bring myself to get angry at you. It's just kind of boring and sad.
I don't want to hear anything about boring or sad from the likes of you.
In any case, you're a married woman now. If you get caught talking with your ex-boyfriend, your husband might think something untoward about you. Or worse, about me.
Oh, there it is. That's what you were going for. You're hoping my husband comes by and sees us together. You're going for the cross-court three-pointer, huh? Make my husband jealous and angry at me, get us to break up, and then you swoop in like a knight in shining armor to pick me up from my sadness. God, you're lame.
Boy, you wasted no time in proving me right. once again. 10 out of 10 for creativity. Bravo.
Using sarcasm to hide your depression? Lame!
For the record, I have a girlfriend, and I'm thinking about proposing to her soon.
What?
I don't know what your schedule looks like from here on out, but in the event that you're going to be staying here for a while longer, do me a favor, and if we ever happen to cross paths again, let's just pretend we've never met before. I mean, God, I wish I'd never met you.
You're not fooling anyone, loser. You know you still want me.
I'd rather get, I don't know, AIDS, cancer, and Ebola at the same time than get back together with you.
Again, not fooling anyone.
Enjoy your delusions, Yuna. I hope you have a nice stay here. Bye. Hey there, Martin. You alright? Huh? Oh, Isaac, it's you. What's up? Nothing serious. There's just something odd that happened downstairs a minute ago. I'd gone down to the lobby to take care of some business, and I'd stopped by the executive lounge to grab a drink before heading back to my room. And while I was there was this woman talking in a bizarrely loud voice. The guy who looked like he was probably her husband. She said she ran into a boyfriend from 7 years ago in the lobby, and when she started talking about where she first met that guy and everything, well, I was pretty sure that she was talking about you. Uh-oh. I thought, I don't know, maybe something bad had gone down with you, so I thought I'd text you. Make sure you're okay. Let me guess. Did this woman use the phrase broke loser a lot? Yeah, like every other sentence. It was kind of weird. I mean, all the other stuff, like the university and time frame, fits you to a T, but, you're not a loser, and you're definitely not broke. That woman has an ability to get lost in her delusions like no one else I've ever met. In fact, the reason we broke up 7 years ago was precisely that. She couldn't get over her own delusions. She even just texted me, just now, to take the opportunity to call me a broke loser 4 times in as many minutes. Wait, you mean your old girlfriend still has your phone number? You didn't block her number? Well, we got a lot of common friends, so it's actually pretty hard for me to completely get rid of her. As for not blocking her, I don't know. I just felt like it would be safer for me to be able to keep tabs on what she's up to. Wow, well that's fantastically bad luck for you, man. And there's one more thing I wanted to ask. This ex-girlfriend of yours, do you know who her husband is? No, I don't. As a matter of fact, the first time I heard she was married, when she texted me to lord the fact over me just now, she said that she married a super rich, high-powered businessman, so I figured he must be some kind of big shot. Huh. Okay. Why'd you ask? You got a good look at his face. Anyone you know? Yeah, actually. It's probably been about 3 years or so since I've seen him, but I've definitely met him before. It's just, well, she said he was a high-powered businessman. Yeah. Ah, shoot, I just saw the time. Look, we're about to be late for the reservation at the hotel diner. Oh, no, we better get going then. We'll continue this conversation over dinner, okay? Sure, sounds fine. I'm on my way.
Hey there, Martin. What you up to right now?
I'm up to anything that prevents me from speaking to you right now.
Let me guess, you don't have enough money to pay for your room, so you're working it off in the kitchen? That's what you get for quitting a stable, high-paying job to start some stupid company on your own. I'd say you're making no more than $20,000 a year right now. Am I right? Who am I kidding? Of course I'm right. What kind of loser makes just 20 grand a year? That's not even poverty wages. That's like third world peasant wages.
For the love of God, Yuna, could you possibly go one day without dragging me into some psychotic fantasy you have?
Maybe I can get my husband to give you a job cleaning toilets at his office.
Well, speaking of your husband, the CEO I told you about who invited me out here is named Isaac Treywell. You ever heard of him? He tells me he is actually familiar with your husband.
Really? Is he the CEO of the company that cleans my husband's office? I'm gonna have to get my husband to change custodian companies. What kind of third-rate businessman doesn't come up and say hello to the people who pay his salary?
No, that's not how they know each other. Actually, back before your husband went independent, he used to work at Isaac's company.
What? Wait a minute, my husband's old company? But that company was one of the biggest in town. Not just in town, in the whole state. You know the CEO of that company?
I told you he was a client. I also heard that your husband is moving back to his old town.
Well, that's news to me.
Yeah, well, Isaac seemed to know about it. It's a pretty small industry. It wouldn't take much time for news like that to make it from one CEO to another.
But that's impossible. My husband's company headquarters is downtown.
Well, yeah, for now. But the word on the street is that he's closing that business down and going back to the city he was born in.
What?
Your husband's town is about 20 minutes from here by car, right?
I don't get it. What are you trying to say?
Wait, you really don't get it? Oh boy. Don't tell me he actually hasn't told you anything yet.
Well, now that I think about it, he said something about buying a house out in the country and something about moving. I just thought he was going to get us a vacation house out on the lake or something where we could spend weekends and holidays. But we're going to be living there permanently?
Oh, so it sounds like he has told you about what his plans are. Oh, looks like that delusional Ben of yours has come back around to bite you this time. You were so caught up in your fantasy life that you'd closed your eyes to reality.
No, that can't be. But I wanted to be married to a high-powered businessman. What's going to happen to me now?
I'd say you should probably talk to your husband about that. I'm just telling you the information that I got third hand from someone who heard it through the grapevine.
No, I thought I had finally made it. I thought I was set for life. Okay, that's it. I'm divorced now. So we can get married anytime, Martin.
Huh?
After we ran into each other at the hotel, I did a little more digging into you. Turns out you were right. I wasn't spelling your company's name right. Don't know how I managed to get it that wrong, but whatever. That explains why I wasn't getting any hits when I searched for it online. Anyway, when I typed it in correctly, I couldn't believe it. Your company is the biggest in your industry. That's incredible. You're something else. I am so flattered that you would work so hard just to impress me.
Huh?
The problem is that I can't seem to find your current address. I've got the marriage certificate application all filled out except for that. So you can sign it after you give me a shipping address where I can send all my stuff to.
Marriage certificate. Shipping address.
That's right. As of today, we're moving in together. So what's your address?
Yuna, I told you this back at the hotel. I'm seeing someone. We're pretty serious.
What?
We've been living together for 6 months now. In other words, I don't want you coming anywhere near my house.
Oh, but come on now. You know that I'm way more of a woman than her, whoever she is.
Well, for one, she doesn't fly off into bizarre delusions on a daily basis. And that alone puts her well ahead of you.
Martin, you can't trust her. I know her type. All she's after is your wealth and status. She just wants to be married to a super rich, high-powered businessman.
Boy, that phrase sounds really familiar.
Right? She's a total psychopath. I can tell.
Oh yeah? Well, she makes more money than me, though.
She does?
Remember the CEO I told you about before? Isaac? She's his younger sister.
No way.
Not only does she have a seat on the board at Isaac's company, but she's also a real estate investor on the side. Well, compared to her, I'm basically like the nighttime janitor at a convenience store.
Wait, seriously?
To be perfectly honest with you, I would never, ever be interested in a woman like you, whose only goal in life is to be the bimbo trophy wife of any rich businessman who will take him. No, for me, I prefer a working woman who is intelligent, witty, hardworking, and independent, like, my girlfriend. I could never share the rest of my life with anyone but her. She has everything I want. I love her. But more importantly, I respect her. And not just as my girlfriend or as a woman, but as a fellow businessman.
Okay, well, in that case, do you think you could introduce me to your friend, Isaac?
That's a joke, right?
Nope. From what you're saying, it sounds like he's a pretty stand-up guy. He's totally my type. So can you give me his number?
Isaac is married.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, and I've never met anyone who is more devoted to his wife than he is. He also has 2 kids, one in middle school and the other in elementary school. Sorry to say, but you're not going to have any luck with him.
Damn it. Isn't there anyone else you can introduce me to? You have to know a bunch of CEOs. One of them has to be single, or at least open-minded.
Not a chance.
Please.
No. Well, okay. That does it. That's all I can take from you. I'm never speaking to you again. Goodbye.
Martin, don't go. Martin, answer the phone, please.
I heard about what happened next from one of our mutual friends. Apparently, Yuna was so certain that she and I were going to get married that she told her husband that she would pay him off to let her go without a fight. She wasn't too concerned about the money since, again, she was positive that I was going to foot the bill for her. So, without so much as talking to a lawyer, she offered an incredible amount of $50,000 as a parting gift, and even signed a contract binding her to fork out the money. Now, a contract like that is most likely unenforceable in court, and there are probably 1,000,001 ways to get out of it, but I think I'll keep that information to myself. The whole incident really got me thinking. Maybe these delusions of hers are getting out of control. Or maybe she needs some special help to deal with them. Well, her family apparently got the same idea. They immediately had her committed and placed under a conservatorship to prevent her from destroying her life or anyone else's more than she already has. And with that, well, I felt like it was finally time to block her phone number and erase her from my contacts. Peace at last.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
That to me? I'm sure he's talked to you about it before and told you to back off.
Excuse me?
And for the record, it wasn't me who first came up with the idea to spend Christmas at home this year. It was Curtis.
That's not true.
Also, Curtis was the one who first came out against your proposal of building a duplex together, not me. And once again, it was Curtis who encouraged me to keep working at my same job after getting married. He's been very supportive of me and my career aspirations.
What a load of nonsense.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm actually out of town on business at the moment, so I'll be taking my leave.
What? Your company sends the women on business trips? Don't they know you have more important things to be doing at home?
Well, Curtis and I both share housework duties, and I'm the person in charge of this region, so...
This conversation isn't over. We still have a lot of things to discuss, Harriet.
I have to get up early tomorrow morning, so I'm going to bed now.
Harriet! It's precisely this bratty, rebellious attitude of yours that made me oppose you marrying my son in the first place. I always told Curtis that he made an unbelievable mistake in marrying you instead of Charity. They've known each other since they were kids. They understand each other. They grew up in the same town, share the same culture. They're the perfect match. What was that imbecile thinking, choosing you over her? My only wish is that there was some way for me to get him to divorce you. How I'd love to be able to look Charity in the face and call her my daughter-in-law.
Mr. Wainwright, are you there? It's an emergency.
Oh, if it isn't my darling little Charity. Are you trying to get in touch with Curtis? At this time of day, I'm pretty sure he's at work. Can I give him a message for you?
No, this is about Curtis. He's been taken to the hospital.
What? What in the world happened to him? The hospital?
Curtis and I were going to meet up for lunch today. I was at the cafe waiting for them to arrive, and I saw Curtis across the street coming toward me, right? When all of a sudden a car drove straight through a red light and ran right into Curtis.
Oh no, that's terrible!
It looks like more than one person was injured in the crash because 2 ambulances arrived on the scene a short while later. I was on the scene, so I volunteered to go to the hospital together in the ambulance Curtis was loaded into.
What hospital were you taken to, Charity?
It's Western General Hospital, the one on North Franklin Drive. Please, Mr. Wainwright, hurry over here as fast as you can.
Got it! I'll tell my wife we'll be there soon. Harriet, what do you think you're doing? Exactly when are you planning on coming to see Curtis at the hospital? In all the time he's been here, you haven't come by to see him one single solitary time. Have you no shame? Don't you feel any responsibility to be here with him? Let me state this as simply as possible. Your husband is in the hospital, Harriet, and you, his wife, have not come by to see him a single time. Are you insane? Not only haven't you come by, you haven't even tried to contact him. He could have died for all you know. Oh, but not to worry. While you've been shirking your responsibilities as the wife of my son, Charity, a superior woman to you in every way imaginable, has been coming down here almost every day to visit him and check up on his condition. Every day that goes by, you make me more and more convinced that I'm right. Charity would make a far better wife for Curtis than you ever could. Hello there, Charity. I'm terribly sorry to have shouldered you with the burden of looking after Curtis for us. The restaurant we run is very small. There's only my wife, myself, and a few part-time staffers. If we're not there to handle things, then we'd have to shut it down, and we obviously can't do that. If our restaurant were a bit closer, then we'd at least be able to stop by from time to time, but unfortunately we're on the opposite side of town.
It's fine, Mr. Wainwright. Don't worry about it. After all, I'd do anything to be able to spend more time with Curtis. This is like a dream come true.
I'm glad to hear that. You know, Charity, you really are one fine young woman. Generous, caring, self-sacrificing. Nothing at all like that heartless, soulless, worthless Harriet.
Speaking of Harriet, do you know what's going on with her? As far as I can tell, she hasn't even come by the hospital once to see him.
I thought that was the case. I can't even get in touch with her. She won't answer texts or calls. Her parents have already passed away, and I don't know the contact information of any of her other family members, so the only thing I can do is wait for her to respond. There's no other way for us to figure out exactly what the hell she's doing. But since she's his wife, I assume she's his emergency contact, so there's no way she doesn't know about his accident. Seriously, what is wrong with that girl?
You know what I think? I think she's using this as an opportunity to do what she's always wanted to do, but couldn't because Curtis was around. You know what I mean?
What?
Curtis is so ridiculously trusting of her. No matter how many times I try to tell him about her, he's just like, no way, Harriet's not like that. She would never do that to me. It's pathetic. I mean, think about it. Not only has Harriet not been over here, but she hasn't even gone back to their house yet all this time.
Wait, really? You're sure? Wow, I should have expected that was the case, but to hear that it's actually true is too sad to bear.
Don't you think it's time we made our move and got them to divorce? I mean, it pains me so much to see Curtis pining after such an unfaithful wife.
Yes, Charity, you're exactly right. The time has come. It's time that my son got the wife he deserves. You! Hello, Harriet. I'm writing to let you know that I've talked it over with my wife, and we've decided that you do not deserve to be married to our son. Not only have you not come to the hospital for the entire time he's been hospitalized, you're off doing who knows what in who knows where, and haven't even been back to your house. Furthermore, you have yet to respond to or even read a single one of my messages. As such, we have determined that the only way forward is for you to leave. You're going to divorce my son as soon as possible.
Hello to you too, Dad. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to get back to you.
There you are. I suppose once I brought the D word into the picture, you realized I meant business. But you're too late, Harriet. There's no changing my mind now. My decision is final.
Let's back up a bit, shall we? First order of business. I've been staying in the exact same hospital as Curtis this entire time.
What? Wait just one moment. What do you mean you've been staying at the hospital? As in you've been renting a room nearby?
No, I mean I've been hospitalized. I was the other person injured in the crash involving Curtis. And the driver who ran a stoplight?
You were?
It looks like you're under a massive misunderstanding, so allow me to explain things from the beginning in the simplest terms possible. First, I was in the intensive care unit for the first few days of my time in the hospital. I've been cleared to leave the ICU and am now in a regular room, so I was finally able to get my phone repaired recently, which was heavily damaged in the crash. It just came back to me yesterday, but I suffered some serious injuries to my hands, so I haven't been able to type by myself. The messages that are being sent to you right now are being written by a friend of mine who came to see me today, as that's the only way I would be able to reply to you.
But that doesn't make any sense. If you've been here this whole time, why hasn't Curtis said anything about it? He's had ample opportunity.
Yes, well, there's a very, very good reason for that. Charity, who's been clinging on to Curtis like a fly in molasses since the time we were dating and sees me as her mortal enemy, has been in the room with him every day and practically never leaves his side.
What? Charity?
It also seems as though she's invited herself to stay at our home while she's here. If she knew that I was here at the same hospital, there is no telling what she might try to do to me in my current state. So he thought it would be best for me to just keep quiet about it. I asked the doctors to transfer me to a different hospital to avoid this problem, but they said there was no way they would be able to safely transfer me in my condition. So we went with Plan B. I asked the doctors to instead transfer me to a private room within the hospital and leave a standing order to refuse visitors without express permission from me.
That's...
By the way, the only reason I'm able to reveal this all to you right now is because Charity's parents have also arrived and they're keeping tabs on her for me.
What? Her parents?
I understand that Charity, when Charity told you about the accident, she told you that another driver ran a red light and struck Curtis as he was walking, is that right? But that's not what really happened. No, the truth is that while Curtis was waiting for the pedestrian stoplight to turn green, he was pushed from behind into the road, and that's when he was hit by that car. So the car wasn't at fault at all, it was the person who pushed him.
What? You mean someone was essentially trying to murder Curtis? Who was it? Who's responsible for this? I'll see to it personally that they're brought to justice.
It was Charity.
Charity?
In her defense, it seems that she was just so happy to see Curtis that she started sprinting towards him, and when she wasn't able to hit the brakes, she rammed right into him. Charity's on the small side, but an adult running at that rate of speed was enough to push Curtis off balance, so he fell face first into the road.
That's unbelievable!
There's more. I was actually with Curtis at the time of the accident.
Oh?
And because we were holding hands when Charity pushed him, I got pulled into the road right alongside him. I don't think what happens next needs any explanation, so I'll just skip that part.
Yes, I think I get the picture.
As for what happens next, I'll have to talk with Curtis about the details, but we're planning to file a police report.
A police report? You mean you're pressing charges?
We've been contacted by multiple witnesses who were there the day of the accident, so there's really no escaping this for Charity. She's the one responsible for what happened to us.
I see.
That's all the time I have to speak to you today.
What? What's going on?
Nothing, it's just that the friend who's typing these messages for me has to go to work tomorrow morning, so she's going home now. My intention was only to clear up any misconceptions you may have had about what really happened. We can discuss the more minor details at a later time, so we'll have to continue this conversation another day. Good night.
Charity, I just spoke to Harriet. She told me about what really happened. If your parents are taking charge of you, I suppose you won't be able to respond to any of my messages. I can't believe it. It wasn't a car running a red light. You just rammed into Curtis so hard that he fell right into the road. I had such a hard time believing it that I talked to your parents directly, and they confirmed that everything Harriet said was true. And to think I was trying to get Curtis to marry you. I had no idea you were such a psychopath. Oh, my dear God in heaven, this is absolutely terrible. Harriet, what's the meaning of this? Curtis said he's going to legally change his last name to yours? He even sent us a letter declaring that he no longer wants to have anything to do with us. He's disowning us as his parents. Please, Harriet, I'm begging you, you've got to talk to him. Do something about this. Talk some sense into him. Please, Harriet, Curtis is my only son. I was planning on having him take over the family business, but now he's disowning me? What am I going to do? Look, I'll accept your marriage to my son. I'll accept you as my daughter-in-law. I'll accept you as part of the family. I'll even allow you to keep working, and you can go out of town on business as much as you'd like. Oh, and I'll also compromise and have you and Curtis do an 80-20 split on the housework. So please, you need to convince Curtis not to disown us and get him to reconsider changing his last name. He can't just get rid of his last name. That's my family name. When she read the letter, my wife was so shocked that she fell down and threw out her back. Harriet, answer me, please. I'm begging you. Give my son back to me, Harriet.
Soon after Charity's parents took custody of her, the friend who had been coming to the hospital to check on me stopped by our house to see what state she had left it in. I was not entirely surprised to hear that every single thing that had anything to do with me had been damaged or destroyed entirely. There was more than enough for my friend to realize that we would no longer be safe in our own home, cleaned up the mess, and removed all of our valuables to a safe location. Additionally, she's also arranging for an apartment to live in temporarily until we can find a new house. Now, since Charity obviously has no money of her own, her parents ended up footing the bill for all the money she owed us to repair the damage she caused, as well as moving expenses. As I told my father-in-law, we also submitted a police report and are pressing charges against her for breaking and entering, property damage, assault, and a litany of other crimes. We won't be settling out of court with her under any circumstances. We're seeing to it that she's put away for a very, very long time. A few months after that, Curtis and I were finally released from the hospital. The same friend who helped us find a new apartment also assisted us in restarting our lives in a new location, including helping us secure jobs similar to what we were doing before at her company. Faced with the unmoving determination of his son to abandon the family business, his father made the heartbreaking decision to simply close down the restaurant that he had worked all his life to build into a successful venture. As for us, however, we finally found peace in our new lives away from all the deeply troubled people in our past.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Hey, big sis, got a question for you. I think I know where you're living now. Did you move to Stormbring? Why do you ask? I was doing some shopping downtown, and I could have sworn I saw someone who looked just like you. She was wearing your exact same style of clothes, plain, boring, outdated, tacky. There's no way there's anyone else out there who dresses as badly as you do. So what if I am living in Stormbring? What's it to you? I have an announcement to make. I just moved to Stormbring, too. You moved? Harry's company transferred him over here, so we just moved here a little while ago. Is that so? I wasn't aware that his company had a branch in Stormbring. Uh-oh, is this where you try to pry more information out of me? About what? About what Harry, the man who left you because you were a useless, dried-up, barren old hag and married me, is doing these days. Look, don't even bother trying, Nicole. Harry has completely put you out of his mind. You're nothing to him anymore. He's head over heels in love with me. I can barely keep him off me at night. Jaimie, please, it's been 7 years. I have absolutely no interest in him, and I haven't for quite some time now. You're not fooling anyone. What, do you want me to still be pining for him or something? Like, is your affection for Harry only based on your hatred for me? No. He's a total dreamboat. I would love him even if he was never married to you. Good for you. Is that all you wanted to tell me? Can I go now? I'm pretty busy over here. Hold it right there, Nicole. Tell me what your address is. Now that we're living so close to each other, I'd love to come over and catch up. So, listen, Nicole, I have got to tell you this. I am absolutely loving my life as the mom of Harry's child. Isn't it insane? The child that made Harry break up with you and marry me is now already 6 years old. He's going to go into first grade this fall. Oh, and he's a boy, by the way. Did I tell you the baby was a boy? He's such a bundle of energy. It's adorable how much he runs around and plays. Sometimes it's even a little bit too much for me. It's like, good grief, let me take a break, sweetie. Mommy's already played soccer with you 3 times today. I need a vacation bad. Well, if it isn't Jaimie again. Look, would you please stop texting me at random times during the day to send me completely pointless messages? This is the phone number that I use for work, and it's really distracting to have my notification list so filled up with your nonsense that I can't find messages from my clients. Aw, don't be that way. We're sisters, aren't we? So yeah, let me tell you about this absolutely hilarious thing he did in the park the other day. I'll pass. We were walking down the sidewalk, and then this old guy with a dog comes by. I am blocking your number. Goodbye forever. What? Hey, you can't block me. Hey there, Nicole. It's your favorite little sister Jaimie again. Oh, for the love of... You got a new phone number just to bother me? Kinda? But I mean, since we're living in the same city now and everything, I thought that it would be kind of important to have some way to contact you in the event of an emergency or something. I wouldn't even want you to contact me to warn me of an incoming tornado about to destroy my house. Come on, Nicole, why are you being so stuck up like this? I've been doing nothing but babysit my kid all the time. I didn't have anything fun to do until you came along. I don't want to throw away my new toy just a few days after I got it. I'm a toy to you, huh? Yep, and playing with you is the most fun I've had since you stopped talking to me after I stole your husband. Anyway, like I said, give me your address. It wouldn't do you any good. I don't live in Stormbring. Huh? Whoever you saw downtown the other day, I can tell you for sure that wasn't me, seeing as I've never even set foot in that city in my entire life. You're such a bad liar, Nicole. Do you really expect me to believe that I didn't recognize my own sister? Believe it or not, it's the truth, so... Sorry, sis, but I'm not gonna let you spoil my fun so easily. I finally found you after all these years, so I have a lot of gloating to catch up on. It's whatever. We live in the same city anyway. And since I know what store you shop at, it won't take any time at all for me to track you down by myself. Hey there, Mariana. Sorry to message you out of the blue like this. Is now a good time? Oh, wow, Nicole, it's so great to hear from you. It's been ages. I've been meaning to contact you myself for a while now, but I assumed you'd been pretty busy. Well, yeah, you assumed correctly. Fortunately, though, I've been able to get help from the people in my inner circle, which makes things a little easier than they could be, but it's still a bit of a mess. If you're taking time out of your busy schedule to message me, then I suppose this probably has something to do with Harry and Jaimie. You're just as perceptive as ever. For the last several days, Jaimie has been absolutely blowing my phone up with messages all day, every day. So I thought something fishy may be going on and figured I should look into it. You and Harry are cousins. Have you heard anything from them lately? if not directly from your parents or other relatives? I really can't shake the feeling that something weird is going on. Well, yeah, there kind of is. I thought so. Would you mind filling me in? Okay, and to make a long story short, Harry and Jaimie got divorced about a month ago. What? Why? You probably heard that Jamie's kid is 6 now, right? Well, it turns out Harry isn't the father. What the? Hold on. This is the 6-year-old kid that resulted in our marriage breaking up 7 years ago, right? Yeah, that's the right kid. So I'm not sure how everything went down exactly, but for some reason, Harry found out a while back that he was infertile, to the point that he would most likely never be able to have a child of his own. That made him concerned about the son that he had always thought was his. And when he got a paternity test done, the results came back that his suspicions were correct. He wasn't the father. Yikes. After he had that bomb dropped on him, he started doing a little more digging. Then he found out that while Jaimie had broken up her relationship before she and Harry got married, she was cheating on him with a different guy for most of their marriage. He filed for divorce, and due to all of Jaimie's terrible behavior, she was found at fault and got nothing in the settlement. Good grief. And trust me, there's a lot more to tell you. This is the short version of the story. Wow, how could that situation possibly get any worse? I'd love to tell you about it, but it's an awful lot to send by text. And you're really busy over there, aren't you? I've got stuff to take care of myself, so how about we both get all our work done for the day and have a nice long conversation by phone tonight? Is 9 p.m. or so okay for you? Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that. Okay, then I'll give you a call around 9 tonight then. Talk to you later, Nicole. Thanks, Mariana. Talk to you later. Hey, Mariana, thanks for telling me about all of that. Seriously, though, I had prepared myself to hear some crazy stories from you, but I still can't believe all of that actually happened. I just hope I told you something that can be useful to you. But what is up with that sister of yours? She never learns her lesson, does she? She actually goes out of her way to specifically avoid learning her lesson. But anyway, it's only going to be a few days. If she doesn't contact me again, then I can just leave it at that. But if she gives me any more crap, then I'm going to give her a piece of my mind and say goodbye to her for good. Hey there, Nicole. Wow, would you believe how much trouble my son has been causing for me today? So my in-laws sent him a new backpack for a present to congratulate him on moving into the 1st grade. And so he's been grabbing things from all over the house and stuffing them inside. Silverware, plates, my cell phone, car keys. I know. I should just be glad that he's strong and healthy, but it's still really exhausting. Sounds terrible. Oh, wait, that's right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be complaining about my kid to a woman who can't even have any of her own. I mean, how pathetic can you get, losing your husband because you basically aren't even a real woman? I'm so glad I'm not you. I just need to appreciate having my son regardless of how difficult he can be. Yeah, having a kid is hard work. Imagine how hard it is having triplets. Huh? Triplets? I don't want to keep this conversation going any longer than necessary, so I won't beat around the bush. I got remarried 4 years ago. What? Oh, so you mean your husband had triplets from a previous marriage? Nope, they're mine. I gave birth to them. What? Let me tell you, having triplets is not just 3 times the work and cost of having one. It's way more than that. Fortunately, we were able to get by on just my husband's income, so I'm managing to make things work by staying home full-time and having friends, neighbors, and family give me a hand when I can. So, yeah, I definitely feel for you and how much work you have to do to take care of your son. But that's impossible. You're infertile. How do you have triplets? It's quite simple, actually. I was never actually infertile in the first place. What? But hold on. Harry divorced you because you've been trying for 3 years to get pregnant, but you never succeeded. You can't have babies. You're infertile. Then when I was able to give Harry the child he always wanted, he married me. Yep, I know. Since you were pregnant at the time, I decided to take the generous alimony offer he made and divorce him without putting up too much of a fight. But the truth is that I never took a fertility test while we were married. You didn't? I did think about doing it towards the end, seeing as though it's really not normal for 2 young, healthy people to try for 3 years unsuccessfully to get pregnant. But Harry divorced me before I ever got the chance. Oh, I had no idea. Quite the contrary, actually. It turns out that Harry was the one who was infertile after all. Oh no. You know about that? Not at the time, no. I only learned that a little while ago. But how did you know? He never talks to you, so how would you get your hands on that information? You hadn't spoken to me for 7 years and all of a sudden started flooding my phone with texts. You thought you saw me downtown in Stormbring? You were obsessively telling me every little detail about your daily life with your son. I got suspicious that something was going on with you. I called up a few old acquaintances who I expected would be in the know, and they told me everything. From the fact that Harry found out he was infertile to you guys getting divorced and much, much more very interesting information. Then this person told you about my son, too. Oh yeah, I heard all about that. Both that the boy wasn't actually Harry's son and that your ex-boyfriend, his real father, took custody away from you the other day. I have to say, I am shocked, Jaimie. You broke up with him because he was too poor for you, but you never even had the decency to tell him that you were pregnant with his child? I wonder if you regretted kicking him to the curb when he pulled up to your house in a new sports car with Child Protective Services in his wake and a court order to remove the boy from your custody. Oh, come on. Who told you about that? They didn't have to go into that much detail. And then there's our parents. They agreed to go along with your marriage to Harry 7 years ago because, in spite of the circumstances, they wanted their grandson to grow up in a home with both his mother and father. But this was just far too much for them to handle. They cut you off, didn't they? What? How did you hear that? How do you think Mom and Dad told me? I heard the gist of the story from someone else, but I called them to hear it directly from them. They apologized profusely to me, too. They said they should have never accepted yours and Harry's relationship, that they were thinking more about their grandchild than they were their own daughter. So, in other words, I know that your son got taken away from you and is now living with his father, not you. You tried to hide him from his father by moving into Stormbring where you thought he couldn't find you. But the long arm of the law did its job, and now you're all by yourself. This is the worst. You know everything, even all the minor details I really didn't want you to know. All I wanted was to gloat about being a mom when you could never have kids, to shove my happiness in your face while you were alone and miserable. I never thought my son would be taken away from me. And not to mention, you have triplets? What on earth is going on here? Everything is all topsy-turvy. So you have your big happy family and I'm alone with a massive amount of debt from Harry divorcing me? And all of it is 100% your own fault. It hurts, doesn't it? Stop mocking me! Hey, where are you? Why aren't you in Stormbring? What? I saw you at the store. You always shop downtown, followed you home, and finally figured out where you lived. But it wasn't you. It was just someone who looked like you. Oh yeah, you mean that woman that you saw and thought was me a while back? I was pretty clear about it back then. Whoever you saw in that store was not me. And again, I do not live in Stormbring. I've never even been there. Then where are you? If your husband is making enough to support 3 kids on 1 income, then you've got more than enough to help out your own little sister. I am behind on rent and utilities, plus I also have some payments to make on my legal bills from the divorce proceedings. So you're gonna have to lend me some money. What? No way. Why not? Okay, really? I should not have to explain that to you at this point. After everything you've done? Ugh. Nicole, I am completely on my own. I have nothing, no one. Sounds like a good opportunity to me. Huh? Opportunity? A good opportunity for you to turn your life around. Up until now, you've always been leeching off of other people's money in order to get by. Now that you have no one to help you, you'll finally have the chance to learn how to take care of yourself for once in your life. You can't talk to me like that. You're my sister. Now tell me where you live so I can stay with you. I'm just about to live in the sky for a while. You what? The sky? And then tomorrow I'll be living on the ocean. What the? Huh? What are you talking about? I'm going on a cruise, you idiot. We're taking an airplane to the port, then going on a 2-week luxury cruise on the ocean. No way! About to board. Good luck with the debt collectors, Jaimie. Nicole, wait, don't go. Take me with you. With nowhere else to go and no one else to turn to, Jaimie went to the only person in the world who she had a chance at being able to rely on, her ex-boyfriend, the father of her son. She put on some extra revealing clothes and expensive perfume and marched her way right up to his front door. But when she knocked and the door opened, it was not her ex-boyfriend, but some old man she had never met in boxers and a white t-shirt. Now, most people would simply apologize for showing up at the wrong house if something like that were to happen, but what did Jaimie do? She screamed at the top of her lungs. As a result, rather than having a conversation with her ex-boyfriend about getting back together, she had a conversation with the police about disturbing the peace. Unbeknownst to her, the ex-boyfriend had already gotten married to someone else and moved out of his old house. Fortunately for her, since she hadn't committed any chargeable crime, the police let her off with just a warning. Fearing that she would soon get herself into even more financial or legal trouble if they didn't do something, our parents decided to take drastic measures. They enrolled her in a re-education camp, changed their phone numbers, and sold their house. Will this re-education camp finally fix whatever is broken inside my sister? I'm doubtful, but I suppose it couldn't possibly make her any worse.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Hey, Mallory, how's it going? I was planning on making a trip back home next weekend. Do you have any plans?
Hey there, Norm. You're coming back, next weekend?
Well, yeah, I figured that if you were going to be around, that I'd make the trip back to see you. I'm only asking because you go on a ton of trips with your friends. It seems like you're gone every other weekend. There wouldn't be any point in me coming back if you weren't going to be around, so I wanted to make sure you weren't going anywhere before I made any reservations or took any time off of work.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, Norm. But you know me, I'm going on another trip next weekend. My friends and I are going to the usual rental house by the lake.
Oh, okay. Thanks for letting me know. Hope you have a good time.
I'm sorry, Norm. This is the first time I've heard of you making plans to come home.
Nah, it's all right. Don't worry about it.
It's just, well, ever since you got transferred out of the state for work, it's been so quiet around the house that I don't really feel like being home if I can avoid it.
Hey, you've got nothing to feel bad for, Mallory. I'm glad you found something to keep yourself occupied while I'm away. Like I said, I didn't give you very much advance notice, so don't worry about me. You go and have fun with your friends.
Thanks for being so understanding, Norm. Hey, I'm actually at lunch with my friends right now. Is it okay if I put down my phone? I'm sorry to cut you off so suddenly.
Oh, you're with them right now? More bad timing by me, I guess.
It's no problem. I'll talk to you later, Norm.
Hey, Tom, I got a question for you. Go ahead, Norm. I'm all ears. My wife Mallory is going on a vacation next weekend with some friends. You hear anything about that? Ooh, me? Nah, I don't know a thing, bro. Know who she's going with? Whoever it is, it's not me. Ever since I learned she was your wife, I've been keeping our conversations to a bare minimum. Like I only contact her when she contacts me, and whenever she does, I make sure to give you a full report and respond how you tell me to. And even if she tells me that she wants to hang out, I always turn her down, like you told me to. I see. Well then, maybe she's telling the truth and she's going on a trip with her friends. Or perhaps she's got a man other than you. I guess those are the only options. You think so? Look, Tom, really, it's fine. You don't need to feel bad about it anymore. I know that Mallory lied to you and said she was single back when the two of you were dating and you had no idea she was married at all, let alone to me. And now you're even helping me keep tabs on her. I'm really glad to hear you say that, but I still feel really bad about what happened. I told you, you don't need to apologize anymore. I can tell you're sincere about it. Thanks, dude. That really means a lot to me. I'm gonna have the private detective firm I hired do the digging into this trip she's taking next weekend. All I need you to do for me is to keep up the act and act like you don't know that I know about you guys. Most importantly, don't say anything that would make Mallory suspicious. Leave it to me, boss. I won't let you down. Again? Hey, Mallory, how's your trip going?
Hey, Norm, it's going great. Thanks for asking.
Glad to hear it. What are you up to right now?
Well, we already got set up in the rental house, so now we're getting ready to have some lunch. And we're going to go down to the beach in a little bit, too.
Sounds awesome. Don't have too much fun without me, okay?
Sure thing, Norm. I'll remember to hold back a little for you.
Hey, Tom, got an update. It's like I thought. Mallory has another guy besides you. You found out who it was? Sure did. Apparently the guy is an old classmate of hers from back in high school. I'll bet anything they met up at their class reunion 6 months ago and have been seeing each other ever since. 6 months ago? But wait a second, that's exactly how long she's been seeing me! And not just that, it's been just 7 months since I got stationed over here for work. My God, that woman didn't even wait a month after her husband left the house to start fooling around with a bunch of guys. We also can't leave out the possibility that she has even more guys on the hook that we just don't know about yet. Holy! Wow, I cannot believe how awful my taste in women is. How many dudes is this chick banging right now? You know, no offense, Norm, sorry, but man, that girl is something else. She deceived me, she deceived you. Chances are she's deceiving this other guy as well, Tom. There's no need for you to feel bad or guilty. We're all her victims. Let's just focus on giving her a taste of her just desserts, all right? Yeah, we're gonna absolutely wreck her, dude.
Hey, Tom, do you have a minute? There's something important I need to talk to you about.
Oh, Mallory, haven't heard from you in ages. What's up, babe?
Well, the thing is, I'm pregnant.
What?
And, well, there's one more thing that I need to tell you. I know once I say it, you're gonna think I'm the worst woman in the world, but you deserve to know. The truth is, I'm married. I told you I was single, but my husband's just out of town on business. He's been transferred to a branch out of state for the last 3 months. He hasn't been home since he left. And so, since I haven't seen my husband at all, that means the baby is yours, Tom.
Whoa, that's pretty heavy, babe.
I know, this must be a huge shock for you. But I also want to tell you that you're the one I really love, Tom. And now that I know about this baby, I think the best thing possible to do is tell my husband about us, divorce him, and pay whatever damages he demands from me as soon as possible. Well, the problem is, though, that I only work part-time. I spend most of my day as a housewife, so can you pay my legal bills for me? Please, Tom.
Whoa, what?
I mean, think about it, Tom. Your parents own that fancy French restaurant, right? You should be able to shell out $50,000 or $60,000 like nothing.
I guess you kinda have a point. If it's my kid, I should probably step up and take responsibility and all that, huh?
I'm so glad you understand. Oh, what a relief. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and text my husband to tell him I'm divorcing him. Thanks, Tom. Hi, Norm. We need to talk. It's important.
Mallory? What's the matter? You sound so serious.
I want to get divorced.
What?
Yeah. I've been cheating on you with another guy, and the baby is his.
Another guy?
I'm only 10 weeks along, and since you've been gone for 7 months, that means it couldn't possibly be yours. So I want a divorce. Now. My boyfriend is going to pay all the expenses for the divorce, so please, let's get this over with as quickly as possible. I'll go ahead and pick up all the forms that we'll need in town tomorrow.
You know what? Nah, I'm not gonna divorce you.
What? You're joking, right?
Nope. I'm dead serious, Mallory. This isn't something I'm gonna let you get away with so easily. This is your boyfriend's kid, right? You know, the guy you were cheating on me with? As your husband, I have the right to know who he is, and you're gonna tell me everything I need to know to find him.
But...
Seriously, Mallory, did you really think I'd divorce you quick and easy? Is that how you imagined this conversation happening?
But what's the big deal? My boyfriend is gonna pay whatever you want in damages for breaking up our marriage. Why do you need to know who he is?
You want to know why? I'll tell you. Because the thing I'm most concerned about right now is knowing exactly who is responsible and making sure he gets what's coming to him. This isn't something that you can just make disappear with a big stack of cash. Hey, Tom. Mallory just texted me now saying she wants to divorce. Apparently she's pregnant with her boyfriend's kid. Did you hear anything about that? Yeah, I sure did. She just texted me a little bit before she texted you. She said she was sure the kid's mine, though I'm pretty sure it isn't, and she also admitted that she was married. She also said she was going to divorce her husband and wanted me to pay all of her legal bills for her. Seriously? Good grief. Oh, and for the record, she's trying to keep the father's identity a secret from me. She won't tell me who he is. Huh, that's interesting. I kept trying to pry it out of her, but she wouldn't budge. All she would tell me is that she's in her 10th week of pregnancy, so if that's true, then that means it's definitely not mine, seeing as I haven't seen her in 7 months. Man, 10 weeks. Which brings us to a new problem. There's a possibility that the child might be yours, Tom. Nah, don't worry about that. It ain't mine. You're sure about that? What makes you think that way? If you want, I'll take a DNA test to prove it, but I'm telling you, I'm 100% positive that the kid's not mine. Scratch that, 1000% positive.
Hey, Norm, the results are in. I got the paternity test, and it says that the kid isn't yours. Are you happy now? Is that enough for you? Now come on, divorce me. My boyfriend and I are deeply, truly in love, and we want to get married as soon as possible. You've already kept us waiting a month now. Let's get this over with already. I want a divorce, and I want it now.
Didn't you get a big envelope with paperwork from my lawyer?
Huh?
You'll find all the information you need inside, like how much I'm gonna be suing you for. And as for the divorce itself, I'll take care of that myself today.
Really? You mean it?
Unless I missed something in the paperwork, it seems to be in order, so I'll submit it to the courthouse, and once that's done, you can do whatever you want.
Yes!
Make sure you pay up.
Oh, no problem. You'll get your money. Hey, Tom, I have great news. I finally got divorced from my husband. Now all we need to do is wait for the paperwork to get processed, pay off the damages from my husband's lawsuit, and we'll finally be able to get married. We're gonna have such a great life together. I can't wait to see you holding our little baby.
What are you going on about? I ain't marrying you, you psycho lady.
What? Why not? You're gonna be a daddy. Aren't you excited to see your baby's face?
Nope, not really.
I don't believe you. You can't run away from your responsibilities like this. You're a man, aren't you? Act like one.
Let me ask you something, Mallory. Did you actually open the envelope that got delivered to you?
Huh? I mean, not all of it, I guess. Tom, I thought that was part of the paternity test results. What the hell, Tom? You're infertile?
Yup. And not just any kind of infertile. The you will never, ever, ever, ever have biological children kind.
This can't be.
This may be the first time I've told you, but you remember my parents, right? The ones who you were banking on getting to pay your legal bills for you because they own a fancy French restaurant? Well, I've cut ties with them.
What do you mean?
It all started when I first found out I was infertile.
What happened?
That restaurant's been in my family for generations, and since I was the firstborn son, I was supposed to be the next owner after my dad dies. I was even engaged to a woman who was prepared to take on the responsibility of helping me run it. But both of our parents demanded we get a prenuptial agreement that included a bunch of tests, including STDs, genetic diseases, and fertility. And as you saw, the result came back that I was infertile.
Oh no.
After that, my parents decided to pass the restaurant on to my younger brother, and my fiancée left me too, for my younger brother. I was so disgusted to see how heartless everyone involved turned out to be, including my parents, my ex-fiancée, and my brother. So I disowned them, cut off all contact with them, and left town.
That's insane. Why didn't you ever tell me that?
I'm pretty sure I told you I don't have a relationship with my family anymore. And as for being infertile, well, we've never talked about marriage, so it never came up. It's kind of funny, actually, just when I was about to finally open up to you about it. An old friend of mine called me up one day and told me something I never saw coming, that you were married to him. And then just a short while later, you come along and tell me I'm the father of your baby.
Is there any chance at all that the test was faulty and that you really aren't infertile?
Nope, I did the test a second time right after the first to confirm it, and the one you're holding in your hands right now is the third one. And they all say the exact same thing. There's a number that should be a very big number, but it's actually close to 0.
Oh.
Which leads us to an unfortunate conclusion, that while your husband was away on business, you were fooling around with at least one other guy in addition to me.
No, you don't understand. That's,
Oh, and there's one more important thing I need to tell you.
What now?
Once I tell you this, I think things are gonna start making a lot more sense. Your husband, Norm, we went to the same high school. He was 1 grade ahead of me.
What?
Not too long after I had left home, I just so happened to run into Norm. This happened just before he got sent out of the state for work. We got to talking and we exchanged contact information. 3 months ago we were talking and I told him, by the way, I managed to get myself a new girlfriend recently. Then I sent him your picture and he said, that's my wife. That was when Norm started going scorched earth on you. He hired a private detective and everything. It didn't take long for them to find out what a slimy, disgusting woman you are. And you're now finally reaping what you've sown.
No. I can't believe it. I had no idea that was going on. Hey, Norm, I changed my mind. I don't want to get divorced after all. So it turns out my baby's father is actually, a penniless loser who would rather play video games all day than go to work. He's up to his eyeballs in debt, and he can barely hold down a job since he calls in sick so often. And I count on someone like him to take care of me and this baby. When I figured that out, I thought I would have Tom be the father instead, but... Answer me, Norm! Norm, please pick up the phone.
A few days later, the next set of paternity results came, and as expected, the child belonged to Mallory's high school classmate. Sadly, though, Mallory wasn't prepared to get married to a chronically unemployed slacker, so the two of them broke up. Also, as expected, Mallory's parents were livid when they heard what she had done. They told her that they weren't going to bail her out and that she'd have to work off her legal debts by herself. So she ended up deciding to go right to work as soon as the baby was born. They even offered to take care of the baby for her while she was at work, which was probably kinder to her than they should have been. Regardless, a few months later, Mallory stormed her way into Tom's parents' house. She started screaming nonsense to them about how they were now on the hook for taking care of her baby and her debt, but unsurprisingly, they didn't oblige her. After that, Mallory's parents realized that she was beyond their help, legally removed the baby from her custody, and had her sent off to a company with employee dorms and a thorough re-education protocol. Not that it's any of my concern anymore, but I hope that company can slap some sense into her. Metaphorically speaking, of course. Maybe after a few months there, she'll learn how to live her life in a way that doesn't damage the lives of everyone who she encounters.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.